Welcome to Freedom After 40, the show for Gen Xers ready to create income online, escape the 9 to 5, travel the world, and live life on your terms. Here's your host, Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Not a guru, just a fellow Gen Xer, a few steps ahead, who guides you through the mindset shifts, money moves, and digital strategies that helped him leave the grind behind and start living free. If you're tired of feeling stuck and know there's more life to live, this show is your roadmap to building the second half comeback you deserve. Let's create, escape, travel, and live.
Hey, what's up? What's up? This is your man Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Guys, welcome to today's episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you're a first-time viewer, I want to thank you for stopping by, checking out what you guys got going on. Hopefully, you'll get something out of today's episode. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is I'm going to challenge you to look on whatever platform you are viewing this video and go look for the previous episodes. I drop a lot of game on this show, showing Generation X's how to get out here and how to rewire and realign their lives in a way to where they can be free. You know, I was blessed enough to walk away from my 9 to 5 3.5 years ago. I'm a full-time entrepreneur that's in the process of building several small enterprises here from the comfort of my home. And one of the main ones being my new publishing company that I launched this year called Modern Frontier Publishing. And what we do is we create guides and frameworks that show Generation X's how to get out here and do a couple things, how to get out here, be prepared, self-reliant, and free in their lives. So we'll do everything from mindset to talking about digital business to productivity. And then we get off into some more specialized guides that show people how to get out here and do unorthodox things, such as do the whole van life thing. All right. How do you untether from your home, your job, and go mobile? And then how do you make it work? You know, how do you sustain yourself? How do you make money? How do you get out there and live your best life? These are the kind of things that we're talking about. And when it comes to the whole entrepreneurial space, we don't do like the traditional things, like traditional businesses. We're going to show you businesses and business ideals and frameworks that are really out the box that people are out here using to literally become location free and financially free, but then at the same time express their full creativity, man. You know, one of the things that I used to hate about my job was that I was so put in a box, pigeonholed. You know, I had to think about what they wanted me to think about. I had to do what they wanted me to do, and leveraging my creativity around the things that I was gifted at, you know, it was non-existence. And so one of the things that I told myself, I said, if I ever get free, man, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna build things that inspire me, you know. And it's kind of like it all feeds back into my personal mission statement, where you know I make a commitment daily to become the best version of myself, and then to help every person that I come into contact do the same, right? So I'm always looking to improve self, but also improve others, and hope others are improved by being connected with me and exposed to me. And that's what I love about this show, because this show allows for me to be able to kind of get in and pull the curtains back to show you guys what it's like to try to launch and run a digital business, but to also document and show you guys my personal story. You know, I can get on here, I can talk about what I'm thinking that day, what I've learned that day, and what I'm doing. And hopefully you guys will be inspired, but then hopefully you guys will soak up some of the game, man, and rub into game. And if you want to really get your hands on some of the frameworks that I've discovered and that I'm using, and things that we're researching, then you're going to want to go over to our website, modernfrontierpublishing.com, and check out our guides over there. And guys, when I say we got some really, really, really good guides rolling out, man, we got them rolling out. I'm working on one right now, even as we talk. We've been working on it for the last couple of days. I've been doing the approval. on all the modules, and I'm thinking we're pretty close to having it done. All right. This is going to be it's going to be one of our bigger products. Um, really good. I commissioned a team to create a training and a course that was built around three of the fastest growing e-commerce strategies and frameworks out here. One was TikTok Shop Affiliate Program. One was UGC, which user generated content, where you go out and get brand deals with brands and they pay you to create videos around their products. And then the other was the modern game of flipping, and not just flipping in general, but mostly flipping local in your local area on Facebook Marketplace. And we took these, man, and we created a very, very unique product that shows all three of these different frameworks, but then we combined them as a stool, right? So they become a leg of a stool, like a three-legged stool, and they work together. And we were able to organize and build out the content in a way to where I haven't seen anybody else putting out any information like this that's drawing light to it with the way we are. And so I'm excited, man, to get that done and get that one rolled out. Then I have another one, man. We originally had a training out called Deal Makers Academy. All right, where we showed individuals how to go out and how to make money doing what we call procurement and finding services, where you'll go out and locate things for companies. You get in the middle as the connector, get some paperwork put in place. Then you introduce the two parties, you make your money. And we did that, and then we showed people how to go out and work with companies and find out what it is that they were ordering on a regular basis, and then go out and attempt to secure that same product for them at a cheaper basis. But again, put yourself in the middle of that transaction and get paid monthly every time that company reordered that product. That's called procurement. And then we also had a joint venture training in there where we showed you how to go out and broker joint venture deals, and that was called Deal Makers Academy. Well, now we have another version of Deal Makers Academy that we've created, and what I'm thinking is that each one of these Deal Maker Academies will be like a volume, right? And so we'll keep Deal Makers Academy as this particular brand of trainings, but then maybe put volumes out. But man, we created a banger the other day. It took us almost 2 days to they were everything was fed to me. It took me 2 days to get everything approved, and it was crazy because some kind of way accidentally deleted the files, everything we had made. So man, you talking about a grown man wanting to cry, man. I went to my AI assistant. I was asking, man, can't we dig this up? And it's crazy because I'm gonna have to do some things different. But yeah, but anyway, to make a long story short, we couldn't. We will have to recreate everything. So what I'm gonna do is once we get done working on the social commerce playbook, which is the one we're creating right now around TikTok Shop Affiliate Program. Once we get that one banged out, I'm gonna go back around and we're gonna make this one that we just made, man. It was a banger. Because with this one we came from the angle as looking at a business for hidden and dormant assets, and then looking at all the places where you usually find these hidden and dormant assets where these businesses weren't leveraging things that they had in there and had around them. And man, it was a banger, man. It was a banger. And this literally would have been, and it's going to be my most valuable course, my biggest course. And we created it in a way to where it spoke to the business owner, right? And the consultant at the same time. So it was like we would talk about, say like let's say like looking at your email list. And are you communicating with your email list? How often are you communicating with your email list? And depending on what kind of questions, then there was different ways that you can go to that hidden asset and activate it, right? And one is what we call database reactivation. where you have a lot of companies, man, they'll make sales, they'll build a list, but they never go back to that list and say anything. It's the craziest thing in the world. And so one of the low-hanging fruits for a business or for a consultant to work with a business is just to reactivate that database. And that's just to send a promotion to that list and to reactivate that relationship. They're going to get a certain level of income in. It's a really, really good way to quickly inject the business with income. And yeah, so we got all these different ways to help a business leverage dormant assets and create income that goes right to the bottom line. And then we showed the consultants how to go in and how to do that, and then how to make money off of that. And so it's going to be cool, man, because it's going to be something that we're going to be able to sell directly to business owners, but then we also be able to sell it to consultants. And then I have software that I've been working on for about 2 years. Let me say I've been working on because I worked on it and then walked away from it. It's just sitting. And it was going to be called Creative Vibe AI, but we got it as Dealmaker AI right now. And basically, it's a CRM system and a full marketing system that what I'm planning on doing is giving the people who purchase my Dealmaker Academy trainings the opportunity to actually like buy another package that includes either lifetime access to the Dealmaker AI software, all right, for a certain fee. Okay. So that's something that I'm looking to do. Okay. And yeah, so it's like if they purchase the training and the software, they'll get it for a certain package. They'll get free updates to the training and they'll have lifetime access to the software, which is good. But that's going to be more of a premium product there. All right, that's going to be more of a premium product. That'll probably end up being like $1,000 minimum product. And so I'm excited about that. Now, that draws me into something else I wanted to talk to, and I'll just build on here. One of the things I'm doing now is I like to keep things transparent with you guys. I have a little note thing. I bought a sticky note app, right, to put sticky notes on my desktop, right, to help me just stay focused throughout my day on different things. All right, but one of the things I'm looking to use it with is when I do the show, right, is to be able to go in here and be able to talk about, like have like a almost like a outline for what I want to talk about. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about social playbook. We talked about that. Okay, so one of the other things, guys, one of the other things is that our level of productivity here at Modern Frontier Publishing is insane, guys. Guys, I'm gonna be able to create some training and some frameworks I'm gonna be able to sell just to show people how to do what I've been able to figure out with publishing. All right. And it's it's crazy how productive I've been when it comes to creating these courses. I remember there was a time, man, when I used to sit it down. I used to say, okay, look, I want to create trainings around things. I would go out and research things, right, and get exposed to information. And I was like, man, I would love to be able to bring that idea to people. But I always had a problem because I wasn't deep in the ideal. I just heard about the ideal. Even though I'll spend time and I would just research. I would watch a lot of videos, buy courses, get on just anything and everything that I can do to get immersed in that subject matter. And then I would come out of it and I would say, okay, it's not something I want to do, but man, this is super cool. This is something that I would love to be able to package and bring to the world. So those out there who would want to do it would do it. And I always step back from it because I just couldn't sit down and get myself to build out all that and to write all that and record all that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll try a different method. Maybe I'll just become a content creator and do that. But the monetization wasn't there, right? And so before I left the job, I started compiling some frameworks and I started looking at how people was doing things. And I said, okay, well, I can position myself as a publishing company. and I can do research. And at that time, AI was new, and I was like, okay, I can use um, technology. I called it technology then, and outsource workers to help me do this. And by the time I left the job, AI was just starting to get going, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I could do that with that. But I went working on the software with AI, not with the publishing idea. So my whole goal was always to create the software, then create the training, and I was doing it for creators. Remember, I was focusing on. Well, let me take that back. Originally, I started the software to work with local businesses. Okay, and so it was Lead Bridge CRM, and then I was going to do training that was going to show local businesses how to go in and kind of do what we're doing now with the Dealmakers Academy and the Hidden Asset course. All right, and so I worked on that, and then I got to a point one day. I was like, man, I don't really want to fool with these businesses like this and do this because I was building it out as something for me to sell to businesses as a software, but then also to run services for business. And I was like, man, I don't want to deal with all these different business owners. So this would be like having bosses again and doing all this stuff. Because when you get contracts and things with businesses and stuff, they think you are an extension of their business or their employees, man. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I started trying to gear the software and the training just to sell to them as a product, right? Productize it. All right, you get access to Lead Bridge CRM and all our training for X amount a month, and then we just service the account on the back. And I had went out and I had put in place some ways for me to be able to do that and don't have to worry about the technical part of servicing the customers. So there was places that I can go pay a monthly fee and they would service all my customers for me on my software. It was just cool things like that. And so I got the software to a certain degree. I said, okay, well, we're not going to do this. I say I want to more gear this towards content creators. So I changed the name to Creative Vibe AI, and the training part was going to be Creative Vibe. And so I did all that, did some pre-branding, some pre-marketing, all on social media, just getting people feedback on it and working the brand like I do while I was working on it. And I came up with how I wanted to do it. And then I started working on the training. And what I was planning on doing with the training was I was going to put it behind a membership site on the school platform, charge a small amount for it, and then sell people the actual marketing platform. And I went in and we created probably about, I think at that time we created about 15 courses. That's where I learned the whole course game from, guys. And we created those courses and stuff, and that was at the beginning of this year. So the year before that, I worked on software. At the end of last year, all the way till now, I've been working on trainings. Okay, and we did all those trainings, and then I literally got burnt out. Like, guys, I'm not even gonna lie. I literally got burnt out after the first set of trainings. I was able to revamp that some in the first part of this year, and I started banging out some more. But here we are at the end of 2026, and we still are just now coming to market with any of the stuff I made over the last year and a half, which is crazy. Even though I went out and marketed some over the year, but this is the point now where I'm getting ready to roll out everything that we've worked on in the last year or year and a half on a big scale. All right, in a full business mode. All right, that makes sense. And I'm excited about it. And guys, let me tell you something. I'm going to speak to you Generation Xers out there. All right. And this is something I try to preach all the time is that if you're going to get out here and be successful at entrepreneurship in our market today, there's going to be a couple things that you're going to have to understand right off the bat is that you can monetize your life, man. What I mean by that is, if you're at the age of 40, 45 or up, you've done and been around a lot of things in your life. Okay, more than what you're giving yourself credit for. And there's a lot of things that you've learned how to do, a lot of things that you know. And so what I tell people is if you're looking to get out here and you're looking to rewire and think about the second part of your life and what you want to do, especially if you're thinking on the entrepreneurship level, I want you to look at your everything in your life as raw material, right? And this is what I always told myself, it's kind of like there's no losing, there's only winning and learning, right? And everything is for a reason. You might have 20 business ideas that you started and stopped over your career, right? You might have 20 ideas of things that you thought about starting that you never did. You might have all these different skill sets that seem like they don't work together. And I like to call this raw material, raw material, raw material. And I want you guys to think about this, right? The way I believe things work is we're not given the final thing. It's nothing like a business doesn't drop down from heaven and land in our hands. What we're given is raw material and ideals. Then it's up for us to look at the raw materials and ideals and say, okay, what can I cook with this, with these ingredients? Okay, this is what I have. So what kind of recipe can I whip up that's going to be something? And then what you do is you start moving into that whole creative space where you're looking at things and say, okay, well, I got this, this, this. I love doing this right here. And guys, when I tell you that if you do that, and if you look at your whole life as a learning experience, your whole life as a gathering experience, and then you take inventory of what you have, what are your skill sets, what are your assets, what are your resources, what are your experiences, and then what are things that you love to do, and then what are some ideas you got for bringing some value to the world as a product or service, you are going to figure out your lane. All right, you're going to figure out your lane. You're gonna run head first into your purpose and your vision, right? But you got to be able to identify it when you do. And that's kind of where I was at with all this, things that I did in the past, things I put my hands on, things I was like, man, you get frustrated. I'm like, damn, you know, another thing that I dropped, another thing I didn't do, and all that kind of stuff. And now when I look back on everything was an asset. Everything that I went through, everything that I got exposed to, everything that I touched is an asset now. It's worth a lot to me. Now, as a person that's in the second half of life, we don't have the age of a young person, right? We don't have the time of a young person, but we have wisdom, we have access to resources, and we have experiences, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm looking at everything and I'm saying, okay, Orville, what would give you the most fulfillment as far as with walking out your purpose? What would give you the highest return on your investment of effort and time and knowledge? All right. And then what would fit into the ideal lifestyle that you see yourself living now in the future? And guys, that's how I ended up with where I'm at with the game of publishing, e-learning, and creating information products. It's something I've been around all my life, something I've been passionate about all my life. And now, guys, I get to turn my play into pay. And it's really, really cool because you got to think about it, guys. I get to get up every day. And first of all, I'm free. All right. I've been able to figure out how to get out the job and stay out the job for now. All right. I'm 3.5 years free. Okay. And the longer I stay away from a job, the more employable I get. Okay. If that makes sense. I ain't seen too much and know too much that's being done out here. Now, this is the crazy thing about it, guys. And follow what I'm saying. You have to be totally honest with yourself. Have I reached any level of success like I was planning on doing? I came out? No, nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. But this is the crazy thing, guys. One of the things I understood, and this is why I got a lot of training and frameworks that we're going to be coming out because I studied out a lot of this stuff, is that it wasn't because of opportunity. It wasn't because things were hard. It wasn't because I couldn't do the thing that I was thinking. The thing that really screwed me up and messed me up and I didn't produce and I didn't, I just totally was all here. It was all between the ears. All right. The mental game. And guys, when I tell you that when you look at your current life is the sum total of your beliefs, your actions, and what you've done up until this point. Now, some of you guys, man, you've done good, man. I mean, you've done good in your careers, you've done good in your life, your homes, your finances. You've done good, and I commend you on that. And some of you guys haven't. Some of you guys have struggled out here. You haven't done good. You haven't manifested the life that you want to manifest. The thing I want to tell you guys, and it's very uplifting, all right, when you think about it, is that Everything that you see and experience in your life was directly created by you. All right. You are the reason why everything is what it is. Now, you can take that good or bad, depending on what you manifested, right? It's based off of your beliefs, the information, your knowledge, your habits, your actions, your execution, your decisions. But now the cool thing is that if you don't like the picture that you see, if you don't like the life you live, you don't like what your bank account look like, you don't like what your time look like, you don't like what your home look like, you don't like what your legacy look like, guess what? You can change it. And I'm here to tell you guys that it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change. And I will argue, guys, that the older you are, if you are in alignment with everything, you can get a lot of things going fast because you have experience, man, and you have access to a lot of raw data, raw material, if you really look at it. And so you literally can look at your life and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be at. And so what can I leverage from my past to help me get to where I want to be at? And then you can take what's out there now. It's, how can I say this? It's no lack of knowledge and information out there. Let me kind of break something down to you guys. All right. So you have information, you have knowledge, you have wisdom. All of it is packaged the same to a degree. All of it can look to the same. But information is like what I'm putting in these courses and these trainings and these guides. Information is what's on that bookshelf back there. All right. Books, information. Now, it it becomes knowledge when I move to knowing how to understand the information. It's one thing to read something, but it's another thing to understand it and then start taking action on it. All right. Now, wisdom is the proper use of the information, knowing how to properly use it. So, one of it is I got to understand it, first of all. It's got to be able to click here. And then I got to know how to use it. That's wisdom, right? And so, a lot of us, man, it wasn't that we couldn't do, it was just that the sequence was off. we hadn't elevated and ascended through those steps. Some of us didn't have no information, so we definitely couldn't have any understanding. We definitely couldn't have any wisdom. But then some of us, we got information, but it didn't do anything because we never learned how to comprehend it. We never learned how to take that information and turn it into understanding. And then since we didn't do that, we didn't have any experience. We didn't go through nothing. We didn't execute. We didn't do none of this stuff. So we never got to the wisdom part, properly how to use it. Because you learn how to properly use something by understanding it and then executing on what you got in front of you and then taking those experiences and stuff and you figure things out. Now, depending on where you're at in that whole matrix there, it's going to determine where you're at now at this part of your life. Now, some of you are looking at your lives, you're looking at your jobs, you said, okay, I want to get away from this job, man. I want to free myself from this job and be free. Well, that's going to take a certain set of information, understanding, and applicable. You gotta have some wisdom, be able to properly use that, right? Some of you might be looking like, man, look, I'm not nowhere near where I need to be financially, and I'm far away from it. But again, I tell you, look at your life. Look at your life. Look at what you've known in the past. Look at what you've done in the past. Then look at what's around you. If there's any deficit in the information part, go buy a book, man. Go get a course real fast. Go sign up for a membership or a community where you're going to be able to get around like-minded individuals and learn what you need to learn. All right. Then you need to do. Then you need to get out and execute. You need to do. All right. But here's the game, guys. While you're doing, you need to be documenting what you're doing. And you need to be watching and managing what you're doing. So that way you can learn and you can adjust and you can modify until you hit your predetermined goal, right? But since you didn't document it and you was managing and watching it, you have a framework there. that you can, and a framework is just a collection of systems, right? So you or just the opposite. But you have that there, which is a step by step way of doing something. So now you can either go out there and repeat that, or you could build on top of it, make it better, right? But this is what I learned about frameworks and doing things. If I put together the building blocks of being successful at one thing, there are certain things and modalities that I can extract from that and apply it over here. So one of the things I look for is what we call universal frameworks. These are frameworks that work in anything and everything that I do. All right, and then you have specialized frameworks. Like let's say taking action is a skill set and a habit that you need to do anything in your life, whether it's losing weight, launching a business, having a good relationship, writing the book that you always wanted to write, traveling the world. You got to be able to execute and take action, right? So that's what we call a universal framework. All right. But yeah, so guys, when you look at your lives and you're out here, you're saying, okay, Orville, I'm ready to do something with this life, man. I got some things I've been walking around incubating on the inside of me that I haven't done yet. And so I'm ready to move into this next season of my life. I'm ready to rewire myself and get this stuff done. Then I'm gonna tell you, get out here and just take imperfect action, guys. That's kind of what I'm doing with this whole publishing company. And that's where I was going with this whole rant. My last 3 years have been imperfect action. Imperfect action. When I tell you I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, unfocused, starting, stopping, doing the wrong things, winning, losing, all of it. But all part of the process. All right. And it got me to where I'm at now. And so now I'm looking at things, I'm saying, okay, now let's cook. Let's get going. Because I know what I didn't know. All right. I know what I didn't understand. And now that I understand everything, I've been able to get out here and dig around. Now it's just a matter of execution. I don't have a deficit on information. I don't have a deficit on knowledge, which is understanding. I don't have a deficit on wisdom. 54 years old. I done put my hands to a lot of things, done a lot of things, researched a lot of things. So I kind of understand how to do it. But and I'm gonna show you how wisdom works. Sometimes the reason why you're not doing or you haven't done is consistency. And that goes back to that whole mindset thing, right? You haven't been consistent. You didn't go long enough. You didn't do it long enough. You stopped before it could start starting. All right. You follow what I'm saying? And so when you look at it, you'll say, okay, well, it didn't work. No, it didn't. It's not that it didn't work. You didn't work. You know, you didn't keep doing what you were supposed to keep doing in order for that ideal to manifest. Remember, we talked about universal frameworks. All right. Universal frameworks. All right. So this is what I want to challenge you guys on. What I'm talking about now is that in order for you to do what you want to do, in order for your life to turn out the way that you want it, and guys, I'm not preaching to you because this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with, and this is my conclusion that I came to. You know, you have to have a big vision about your life, man. You have to have a big vision. It's got to be bigger than what it's been in the past. All right, it's got to be bigger. And to make sure we're on the same page, let's go ahead and define vision. Vision to me is purpose. All right. It's your purpose in pictures, right? So my purpose is my reason why. You always got to have a reason why you're doing something. All right. Like you might say, okay, Orville, you know, I want to quit this job. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is why? All right. Why? Why do you want to quit that job? Why do you want to walk away from some security? And guys, you got to ask yourself that question and you got to have a good answer for it. Because when you get out there, if you ever decide to quit that job, you get out there and things are hard and you're going through some things, you got to be able to have something to lean back on that is a pillar for you. So you got to have a reason why. All right. You got to have a reason why. And so, what I want to challenge you guys to do is, I want to challenge you to sit down and take an assessment of your life, man. I mean, sit down with a piece of paper. I always say, have a meeting with yourself with a piece of paper and just think some things through and write some things down. Okay. And try to get things figured out. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at your life and I want you to say, okay, in this season of my life, what am I doing? What do I want? Who do I want to become? And what you're doing is you're trying to figure out that purpose, right? That reason for being, that reason for doing. And once you latch into that purpose, man, then everything else you start stacking. Okay, it's like Voltron. You start stacking it. Okay, because once you get that purpose, then you can draw that vision. And guys, vision is crazy because and I'm gonna show you and teach you guys this later on. But I've been working on some strategies of visuals that I've been doing with some pictures and stuff in AI that has really become a game changer for me. It gets me to see what I need to see, even when at the time I can't see because I haven't got there yet. All right. And I'm gonna kind of share this with you guys, but I'm not gonna go deep on teaching on this. Okay. And I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. All right. Give me a minute. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys in real worldness. All right. How to take your purpose and transform it over into vision. Okay. And how to use technology to help you do that. All right, give me a minute, and I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys how how this game how this game works. Okay, and I'm gonna pull up something that you guys haven't seen. Hey, give me a minute, because I'm gonna pull something up that's a little bit more realistic. What I'm trying to do, because I do some things that I just challenge myself on, but it's not something that I really really want to do. Okay, so I'll draw to this one here. Let me get this pulled up. Let me get this pulled up. Then we gonna build, homie. We gonna build. We gonna build. All right. So then we gonna build. Let me see where I got it at. I'm really, I'm trying to learn how to use my software a lot better, guys. I got this. I gotta update this Mac though. Okay, but it'll just give you an idea. It's not the best picture. All right, but it's gonna be one that'll give you guys an idea. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my desktop with you guys. And I want you to look at something, guys. I'm gonna show you. All right. So I'm gonna show you how things work. So this over the last year or something, I learned a new skill, guys. I learned how to create what we call photorealistic avatars. I learned how to go in and to literally, in a sense, clone myself, create a clone of me. Right? I've learned that. Okay, make sure you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Okay, because I gotta. Okay, now it's a good thing I looked at that, man, because you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing no more. I was trying to move these windows around. All right. All right. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. I got a way of fixing it. Hold on. Hold on. I'm the man. I'm the man. Okay. Just go over here to recents. We're gonna bang this back out again. Okay. So you guys should be looking at it now. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. All right. So I learned how to whatever I got too many windows open, man. Let me get rid of this one now. Okay. All right. So so you guys should be looking at it now. All right. All right. So you hopefully you're looking at that, man. So I learned how to go in and use AI to to create what we call an AI twin. To create a version of me. It's not supposed to look exactly like me. The people get so hung up on this. I can make them look exactly like me, but I don't want them to look exactly like me. And I do that for a reason. Because with this AI twin, I have a variance with them. I can have them look exactly like me. I can have them look 20% different going to the left or 20% different to the right, enhanced. All right. But what I like to do with my AI twin is I like to create pictures of my AI twin doing something or somewhere that inspires me. Right. And I make it make sense. I like to wear all black. If you look at what this guy got on, that's pretty much what I wear. I got the same kind of Nikes. I wear black t-shirts. I was looking the other day, I got about 10 to 12 black hats. I wear black shorts. That's all I wear. Black. I wear all black. Okay, mostly. But my watch is a black Apple Watch. Okay. But anyway, I'll take my AI twin and I'll put him in different pictures and situations, right? And it's so crazy the amount of people that come to me and say, Orville, that's not real. I'm like, yeah, it's not supposed to be real. See, what I'm doing with these pictures is I'm creating, you know how people have vision boards. They'll go out and say, okay, look, I want to travel. I want to go here and then I want to hike to this summit and I want to get on top of this summit and I just want to sit down and look over it. Okay, I want the process of hiking up that high, and then I want to sit there and just take it in. All right, and so what would happen is people would go out and they would move around and they would find pictures of somebody else hiking or pictures of that summit, and then they would put it on what they call a vision board. And this is a very powerful principle, guys, of manifestation. If you haven't ever used a lot of your see, guys, you got to study successful people. You got to study rich people, effective people, people that are getting doing things. They do things that broke people and people that are not successful won't do. All right. So wealthy people, man, people that are out here and they're high achievers or they're manifestors, they create visuals that anchor them into the person that they want to become or the life they want to live. And they do this through vision boards. Now, the problem with a vision board is that it's usually not you on the board and you've never been there. So what a lot of people started doing was they'll cut their heads off and put it on that body of that person sitting on it. And they said, that's me. Now, one of the coolest things I learned when I started working with AI and doing this was that I could create, I can clone myself, right? Then I can take myself and put myself in any situation. All right. I could have myself doing anything that I wanted to do. And so I took and I created what we call future casting. That's what I termed future casting. I create visuals now with AI of who I want to become and what I want to do. And I use it on my social media. And if you go to my social media profile, you see it. I got the cars I want to drive, the houses I want to live in, the offices I want. I'm out working out. I'm doing things. I'm out hiking. I'm out spending time out camping. I'm doing everything I want to do because I've understood that you got to cast a vision, your purpose in pictures, guys. And I want you guys to really, really grasp on what I'm saying. You have to get clear on what you want. All right. And then you have to start using your imagination to start building those pictures. And you got to hold that in your subconscious mind. Now, this is the thing about your subconscious mind, which is your goal seeking mind. Your subconscious mind can't tell true from error, it can't tell real from fake, and it can't tell if you've done something, you didn't do something. Right. And we'll get off into that a lot later in some other trainings. But what you want to do is you want to get a picture of who you are, who you want to become, what you're trying to do, and you want to cast that picture here. You want to hold that picture there. So this is how I use the whole vision casting thing. Okay, this is how I use these pictures of me. Whenever I'm posting on social media, 9 times out of the 10, the picture is an AI generated picture because I can create the exact visual to activate whatever thought that I'm trying to anchor with that post there. But the other thing is, every day I get to look at my future self. So, guess what has a tendency to happen? All right, really think about this, guys. What has a tendency to happen is I start believing my future self and I start working towards my future self. I start looking and saying, okay, well, look, man, I can lose those pounds and I'll look good losing those pounds. And I've lost some pounds doing it. All right. Or you guys follow what I'm saying? You start leaning into the picture. Okay. You start leaning into the picture. So now think about your whole life in general, your whole life, guys. Think about your whole life. So a lot of us, we have these lives that are good in a sense. You know, a lot of us have went out and done what we needed to do. But it's not the ideal life that we want to be living right now. It was good or it was bad. Some of us don't. It was bad. All right. But either way, it's not the life that we want to live. So now we have to figure out how to bridge from where we are to where we want to go. So we can get in and we could do this big reset. We could do this big rewire. Are you sitting there? You saying, okay, Orville, look, man, I got to get out this doggone job. I don't like this boss. I don't like these fellow employees. I don't like nothing about this, man. I feel like I'm dead. I'm smothered. I'm not living my purpose. All right. I got to get out this job, or if I got to figure something else, I'm not making what I need to be making. This is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. I don't like living in the area I live at. I want to relocate. I want to move. I always wanted to move to here, and I see myself doing this here. You know, you got people now. They're coming up, and they've been watching. They've been reading and looking at a lot of people doing a lot of alternative things. When you look at the number of people that are living out of RVs and traveling, or a number of people that are going overseas to live, the number of people that are moving from cities, getting homesteads, the number of people that are buying houses, rehabbing houses, the number of people that are working from home and saying, okay, I'm not going back in that job. During the pandemic, you let me come home. I seen that I could work from home. Why do I have to come back into that prison cell, that cubicle and work? Why do I have to do it? You got people that are saying, okay, why should I settle with one income? Why should I settle with one income stream? All right. So if it's ever shut down, I don't have nothing. You know, you got people asking, why should I wait till I get old to travel? I want to travel now while I'm still kind of young and healthy to do it. That's over there. That's over there. This is where you're at right now. What's the bridge that's going to get you across there? I'm going to give it to you guys in a nutshell. All right. And then we're going to build on this later. First thing is clarity. We're talking about your reason why. Why are you trying to transition? Why you want to do something different? Why you want to become somebody different? Why you want to go? All right. Get very clear on that. All right. And that ties into what we said, purpose. Then you got to start having a vision. You got to start exposing yourself to examples of that so you can understand that you can do it. All right. Then you have to do what we talked about at first. You have to take inventory of your experiences, your skill sets, your resources and stuff. And that's going to be what you're going to build your bridge with. That's going to be what you build your bridge with. But I'm going to tell you guys, and this is something I've learned, okay? Just when I looked at everything and it boiled down, this is something I learned. If you got money, you got financial resources, it's not hard for you to build your bridge. It's not. It's really not. It's going to take some time, some work, some effort, but it's not as hard as a person that don't have financial resources. Because if I have financial resources, man, I can hire consultants, coaches, mentors. I can go get training. I can put money up to where it can sustain me. I can bring on people. I can buy better equipment, better resources, better technology, and I can go after that. I can go after that dream, that goal. I could do it. I could do it. If I don't have the financial resources, then, oh man, I could do it, but it's going to be a battle. So the conclusion I came to with a lot of people, man, all they need at first is financial resources, some money, just enough to get them by, just enough to allow them to do what they need to do so they can go out there and get the training, the understanding, the frameworks, and then maybe put their hands to something and start building habits and things like that to get them across there. And so if it was me looking in, the first thing I was asked was, are my financial resources in place for me to go after things? And if they are, then it's just a matter of you building the framework and the plan and executing on it and then sticking with it. Because anything else you can overcome. And so that's like on this show and on this podcast, one of the things I want to talk about is I want to introduce you guys to different business ideas. All right. Different ideas and frameworks that you can take and start turning into cash, income. Income pointed in the right direction will help you start building some of these steps that's going to turn into a bridge for you to get to where you're trying to go to. And the way that you build your income is going to determine how fast you go. All right. And that's one thing I've learned. Certain things I put my hands to are slow lane. All right. You want to read a good book, go out and get the book, The Millionaire's Fast Lane. And that's a good book. I have it in audio and printed. And he talks about the slow lane, the fast lane, the highway, the sidewalk type of thing. And when you're looking at what you're going to do to manifest income, then you have to understand some things go very slow, some things go very fast. Some things you make a little money off of, some things you make a lot of money off. That's why I got into publishing, guys, because over the years, it's all I've studied and seen. And the people that I've seen that were out making the most money, they were making it in publishing or in the digital space. And I told myself, okay, look, I'm gonna combine both of these. So this is a space that I love. I love information. I love learning. I love teaching. All right. I love the digital space. I love how disruptive and how it makes you free and gives everybody the chance to be able to go out and do things that you never could do. I mean, look at it, guys. Look at it. I'm doing this podcast. All right. This is the equivalent of me having my own radio show. Because depending on how I approach this, man, I got the intro, I got the outro, I have the podcast cover art. I could put this on Apple. I could put this on Spotify. I could do it in video and audio. I can come up with I could do a website where I have all my episodes at. And I could build this podcast out as my own show. I didn't have to go to any big corporate media company to see if I can get put on one of the radio stations. No, the internet was that great disruptor. It's that force multiplier for individuals. Now all of us can do podcasts. All right. All of us can create our own shows. We don't have to go get permission to do this anymore. But now check this out. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Let me pause for a minute. Let me pause for a minute. All right, give me one. All right. I'll be fighting them sciences in the morning. I keep telling you guys, man. But now all of us can get out here and start our own shows. All right. All of us can create our own publishing companies. All of us can create our own media brands. All of us can launch our own products. You have to learn how to develop and create a big vision for your life. To understand that anything that used to stop you can't stop you now. Guys, we live in a no excuses world. It's nothing to stop you. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing that can stop you. I jump on TikTok and I watch the people that do live broadcasts. A lot of people over there are selling they're selling different things, products, information, things like that. A lot of people are making money off of the creator program over there, content creators. A lot of people run their own shows. It's a lot of things. But I like watching this one guy. He has a live that he does, and it's called Felon Helping Felons Make Money. All right. Very niche, very purpose driven. Felons helping felons make money. Now, the cool thing, I think this guy's name is Josh. Now, the cool thing about him is when I look at him, he got tattoos everywhere, man. He got tattoos all on his head, all on his face, all on his neck. He even got them on his eyelids right here. So when he talking, man, he got words here across. And the guy looks. If you look at him outside of a factory, a lot of places wouldn't hire this guy. They wouldn't hire this guy based off of his appearance alone, let alone his background. All right. But now this is the thing about this guy. I think it's Jeff or Josh. We just don't call him Jay. All right. This is the thing about Jay. And I've been able to get in, do some research, and I've been able to look at some things that he's doing over there. Jay is making about 2,500 to 3,500 a week now. over on that platform, selling training and courses to other felons who want to figure out how to make some money. All right. So follow what I'm saying. So Jay got out of prison, and we all know the story about what guys and girls go through. All right, when they get out of prison, a lot of them are shut out of the system on a higher level. They can go down here and labor, work, struggle, but on a higher level, they shut out because of their past, right? And so Jay recognized he had a problem. Okay. He wanted to make more money. He didn't want to have to go out there and slave physically and do all the things that he was going to have to do as a convicted felon and not be able to reach his goals. He didn't want to be hindered by how he looked in his past. And so he started looking for a solution to his problem. All right. And as he started looking for that solution, he started creating this big vision for his life. And his vision superseded what his natural looked like. All right. He started seeing something for himself and his family that was way bigger than what he was seeing in the natural realm at his current state. And this is what he did. He started looking around and he started seeing some examples of other people who had went out and did what he was thinking about doing. He started looking. All right. Then he started noticing that they were saying this certain thing. So he said, okay, well, let me get access to this information. And he went out, he started investing some money in some training and some courses that was going to teach him some things around digital marketing, how to make money with digital marketing. All right. And then he found out that a lot of these courses would allow him to resell the courses. They had this kind of ecosystem built into it to where he can turn around and he could sell to others the courses that he had just took. So not only could he be a consumer and level up on the information, but he can become a publisher and start selling information to other like-minded individuals. And that's what Jeff did. And he has built out a framework and a system that has allowed him to go from where he was at to where he was trying to go. He didn't have to ask any permission. He didn't have to get anybody to open the door for him. He activated the second part that I want to talk about in this podcast was hustle. Hustle, 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 hustle. Now, I don't know what you think about hustle, guys, but this is what hustle means to me. Hustle means you take nothing and you turn it into something. That's hustle. All right, so Jeff took something that wasn't there and turned it into something. All right, and he's created a six-figure income that was a solution to his problem. It's to set him free. So now he don't have to go work a job. He's sitting at his home. He go live about 3 times a day. And he's sitting right at his home and he's talking to people and teaching people who look like him, who've been in a situation like him. And he's showing these men and women how to go out and get free. And they're doing the same thing and they're replicating what he's doing. Jeff is hustling. All right? Hustling. Hustling means, guys, you don't sit around and have excuses. You don't sit around and say, okay, well, I'm going to wait till everything is ideal. Hustling don't means that I'm going to think about it on a Monday and not think about it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to get out here and work hard today and take the rest of the week off. That's not hustling. Hustling is where you get up, guys, and you say, okay, I got to figure out a way to make this happen. And I got to keep my feet on the pedal and I got to keep going with this thing until I manifest the result that I want to manifest. All right. And I'm going to get up every day. I'm going to be like that dude MacGyver was off that show. I'm going to look at what I have access to, resources and skills and things like that. And I'm going to figure out how to whip this recipe up so I can come out of this thing with what I need to come out with it today. And you do that on a day-by-day basis. You get up, you make things happen. Okay. I need this to happen over here. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to make 20 phone calls to these kind of people and try to get somebody to say yes. And then that's what you get up and do. All right. Like in my case, man, I had to go out and what I'm doing right now is I had to go out and learn everything from the ground up. So when I got in and started messing with that software 2 years ago, a lot of people's just looking at me. But I got in messing with that software, and that software introduced me to messing with AI. And that single decision has been such a force multiplier and a game changer and a catalyst for me that it's crazy. Because that led me to start working with AI. And I started figuring out what I could do with AI. And then I started taking AI and using AI to go out here, and we started executing on these ideas I have. And I started putting these frameworks together. I started getting these experience. And guys, when I tell you I didn't invest it, so many hours into learning what I'm doing today. And it's starting to pay the benefit. And I'm going to show you why, guys, because I'm hustling. I took an idea. All right. I like information. I know where to go get information from. Courses, training, blogs, podcasts, videos. I know where to go get exposed to information. All right. But I want to take this information and figure out with this information how to fix some of my problems. Okay. Sit down, start fixing some of my problems. Okay. Now I want to take these information that I got, and I want to take what I learned how to fix my problems. I want to organize the information so I can help some other people fix their problems. All right. That's what I'm doing. And guys, when I tell you that every day that I get up, it's not about, am I going to do it? All right. It's all about what do I need to get done today. And like I told you guys, I've been working, man. See, Jeff beating me, Jay beating me. He's beating me because Jay didn't even do what I did. He did another principle that we teach inside of our Launch the Content Creators Blueprint. He ran with another game, and I did it, but I didn't do it. Okay. He said, okay, look, I'm not going to create nothing. There's a lot of people out here that are creating some really, really good curriculum around how to make money online and how to get into digital marketing and build a digital business. So he just went out there and invested in one. I did that. I invested in them. All right. He found one that would allow him to start reselling. I did that. But this is where we did different. This is where the hustle comes in. I went out and I created content and tried to passively attract buyers, which I've done, and have done it and have made money doing that. Jeff said, nah, remember we talked about the fast lane. See, the way I approached it, I was in the slow lane. All right. Mine's had so many variables to it. People had to, first of all, I had to grab attention with my content, get a person to stop. Then they had to watch or listen to what I had. Then they had to go through the process of going through my funnels, then decide to buy. All right. So much friction between all that. See, Jay, he did something different. He did what I wasn't willing to do. He went over to TikTok and said, okay, all right, I see a framework. I see people going live. People doing these live broadcasts, these live shows. They're getting on there spending an hour, 2 hours at a time, and they're talking about something. Then they're asking people to buy in those lives. He went and did that. I didn't go do that. He went to the fast lane. I went to the slow lane. It freed him. It hasn't freed me yet. Even though I know more than Jay, I have more than Jay, but Jay then went further than me. He done better than me in that area. Because he found a bridge that everybody wasn't willing to build and go across, but he was. Because when he looked at his circumstances, his back was against the wall. He didn't have a lot of options. So fearlessness is what okay, let me get on this camera. Let me get on here. I know I look a certain way. That's okay. He said, let me talk to the people that look like me. Then I won't have to worry about how I look. But guess what? He attracted people that don't even look like him. Right? And he started leveraging that opportunity over there, which is that live broadcast where you can get in front of hundreds and even thousands of people every day who are ready to buy. And that's what he did. And guys, when I say it was a game changer for him, he had a vision, a big vision for his life. And then he added some hustle. He said, okay, I'm not going to get up and say what I can't do. I'm going to get up and say what I can do. And let me do it. What do I need to do? What do I need to do every day in order to do what I'm trying to do? Because I'm going to get to where I'm trying to go to. You know, I refuse to do what they say I got to do, to be who they say I got to be. I refuse that. I'm going to go out here and get me some information, get me some understanding, get me some wisdom. All right. and then I'm going to put some hustle with it. And that's what he did. And guys, guess where I'm at right now? I'm back over here getting ready to do these lives because that's where I need to go hustle at with my courses and stuff. Now, I'm in a good position because I've invested into a lot of courses that I have resale rights to, but I'm also creating my own courses. And I have unlimited supply of product, okay, to be able to go over there and sell. And so I'm excited about it. But it's been that thing, guys. I ain't gonna lie, it's been that thing that I've been fighting against. I get on here all day long and shoot a video like this, but it's something about getting in front of a live audience. And I've done it here this past week and a half, and it hasn't got easier because I came up with me a framework. I was banned up until today off of TikTok because I said some things I wasn't supposed to say. So this is my first day being able to get back on there again. So I'm gonna jump on there and be ready to roll. But I'm fixing to go over and do what Jeff figured out. How to take this force multiplier over here, this thing that I can use as a catalyst, which is this live broadcast, and get my message and my products in front of hundreds and hundreds of people every day who I can literally talk with. And I can practice the skill set of communicating, persuasion, and closing sitting right here at my home. And guys, it's a beautiful thing. So what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is I'm going to challenge you to look at your lives. Look at what you're trying to do, okay? Yeah, you're getting older. Yeah, you got to get some things figured out. If you don't have money put up for retirement, man, you got some time. You got to get out here to hustle. All right, if you want to escape that job, and you got things that you need to do on a monthly basis. All right, and you got people that's dependent on you. All right, you got to get things figured out. But one thing I'm gonna tell you guys, this one thing I've learned: there's no easy way to doing it, guys. And the two things that we talked about today, you got to have a vision. You got to have a big vision for your life. It's got to be bigger than all the adversity, all the setbacks, all the things you got to learn, the tired days, the sore body. It's got to be bigger than all that. You got to have a big vision. You know your purpose. You gotta sync with your purpose. Figure it out where you at, who you are, what you're trying to do. Get clarity on that. Then you got to start building you some visuals. You got to be able to imagine, to see yourself living a different reality. All right. And you got to be able to hold on to those pictures. All right. Then you got to be able to clearly see where you're trying to go and what that's going to look like. And then, guys, you got to start building that bridge. What's going to get you there? To each person is going to be different. To each person is going to be different. All right. I can't tell you how to get to your destination. Only you can tell yourself that. Each person is going to be different. But what I can tell you is, guys, you're going to have a clear vision for what it is that you're trying to do. All right. Where you're trying to go. And then you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to marry that with some hustle, guys. You got to get out there, roll your sleeves up, do some hard work. Do some things that other people won't do so you can have what they won't have. All right. If you want to be free out here, you got to get out here and you got to get to work, guys. You got to hustle. You can't take no. You can't take, I can't do that. You got to get it figured out, guys. And that might mean that you have to start eliminating some TV, some social time. That might mean that you have to start investing some money to start accessing some knowledge and some understanding. All right. But you have to look at it and you have to ask yourself, but isn't it worth it? You know, what would your life look like if you were able to change everything in your life to what you want it to be in 12 months? And guys, you can. You can. I always tell everybody, you're 12 months away from being a new you. If you're willing to sit down and go through the process of thinking, figuring out things, get clear, count your costs, figure out what it's going to take through planning. All right. Be able to clearly identify where you're trying to go, what that's going to look like, and then get to work, because there's so many things out here that you could tap into and that you can leverage. But you got to get out here and hustle, guys. You got to hustle. Vision big, mind strong, guys. Your hustle gotta be there. Orville J. Parker, aka Coach, guys. Thanks for checking out this today's broadcast, man. If you guys get a chance, run over to modernfrontierpublishing.com. Go over there and check the guides out. Right now, we have about 6 or 7 guides, man. When I tell you guys, we got about another 10 bangers coming out soon. And you guys are going to want to plug into those guides. We spend time researching, analyzing, organizing, and then putting back out what I believe is some really good content, some really frameworks that are going to help a lot of people get free out here, man. Will help you get free. But you got to take the step to check out the information. You got to take the step to invest in the information so you can figure out what you don't know that you don't know, and then start taking some action on the information. All right? ModernFrontierPublishing.com. Go check out what we got over there, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. All right? Next episode of this show. All right? Make sure that you guys like the video if you like it. All right? Make sure you like it, man. Make sure you like it. Spread the word, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to Freedom After 40, where it's never too late to build something new. If today's episode hit home, do me a favor and share it with a fellow Gen Xer who's ready to make their move. And don't forget to grab your free Freedom Blueprint at learndigitaltoday.com. It's the first step to designing your new life. Until next time, keep building, keep dreaming, and remember, freedom isn't a fantasy, it's a plan.
All right, guys, Orville J. Parker, a.k.a. Coach. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.